What's going on? How are we doing today? We're live. Today's topic is why most people start January already behind. It is a very, very controversial, but mostly important topic because when we look at what we're doing right now, hold on one second. Yeah, so just trying to make sure this audio is good. Matter of fact, if you can hear me good in the chat, give me a one. If you're watching this on replay, give me a replay. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. So, really, really important, man. There's a lot of noise in the fitness industry right now, and if you're hearing things like different from different people, different sources, I'm here to really clear all that up. And it's really not your fault because and before we even talk about fat loss, we need to say this, right? It's not your fault because a lot of people are trying to lose fat without fixing the basic problems. And what is that? Um, it's not being hydrated enough, and this is especially for women. You guys walk around water, but not being hydrated. There's a difference between H2O and H3O2, which is your melons, your fruits. We're not getting that in, and since it's the winter time, we're not even really consuming enough fruits as it is already, right? So hydration, right? If you're not getting hydrated enough, you're not going to see any fat loss. And if you are under eating or eating inconsistently because your days are very, very long because you're at work, or you start something early in the morning time as far as eating, and then you don't eat until 3, 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and then you start to binge eat, well, you're going to have some issues and you're not going to see fat loss the way that you want to see it, right? You're going to be dealing with a lot of hormone imbalances when you have an actual diet this way. You have many of you, a lot of you have gut issues, right, that have never been addressed. Some of you are backed up. Some of you haven't pooped for a very long time. Some of you have, right? And you still have backed up poop in you. A lot of you have not reset your body. And then you're frustrated that fat loss feels hard, right? And that's not because your body is broken, and it's really because your foundation is off. When you try to build something strong on a weak foundation, the whole thing is going to collapse. So if there's no foundation, right, we have to start building one up that's going to be special, right? And this applies to men too, because a lot of men, you have weak and low levels of testosterone, right? But women, you feel this more intensely because of your hormone issues. So we have women that come to us who swear that they're doing everything right. One woman in particular actually comes to mind. I would say this about 5 years ago when mm, we started the gym almost 9 years. We've been in business for 9 years. This was about at least 5, 6 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But she trained with us about 5 days a week, and she came to the boot camp. She was exercising, she was taking a lot of pictures, but she would be on our ass on a weekly basis. She would text me all the time. And it was almost like, oh, like it was like living in fear, right? I'm not getting towards my goals. I'm not seeing anything change. I'm not this, that, and the third, right? But, right, when we looked in deeper, right, number one, she wasn't hydrating herself properly. We started to cross check a lot of different things. And when you're in the fitness industry, the only thing you're really geared towards is exercise. That's really simple. It's really the only thing that we're working on. We're working on exercise and the science of exercise. And when people are saying they're not getting towards our goals, the number one thing, the trainer then says, so the trainer works with you. You tell him or her about your goals that you're trying to accomplish. They're training you, they're exercising, but they're not experts when it comes to nutrition. They don't have any type of fasting protocol in line. So it's like broken down in the middle. So you have the doctors on this side, they're pushing weight loss drugs. The trainers on this side, hey, train with me all the time. And then you have, and it's $45, $50 a session. And then you have, the registered dietitian they're more or less like your insurance pays for it, but you're only seeing them maybe one time every 3 months, and they just go around the entire thing. They don't really say like, hey, look, here's a roadmap. This is what you should eat. Look, this is what you should do. There's some that do, but it's really, really funny when it comes to the amount of information. And then you have the social media experts, right? The influencers, the gurus, the ones that are just online. You may see them with a nice looking body, right? But that's the issue with that most people come across. So this person in particular that we were training, she was getting so much information in between, right? She wasn't hydrating enough, and no lemon, no lime, nothing to alkalize the meals with, nothing, right? She was skipping a lot of meals. And she wasn't really getting enough protein in throughout the day, too. We saw that as well because we were having her log in. This was the time before we had the Supreme Body University app. She was logging on to my Fitness Pal, right? And this was before, this was the free version of my Fitness Pal. Now you got to pay, and there's a bunch of nickel and dime. There's a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying, going on with that. So when it comes to like what we were trying to do, we were trying to instill fat loss, right? But at the same time, we didn't have a nutritional program 6 years ago the way that we have it now. So now with Supreme Body University, we have a fasting protocol. So I tried it with her. And I said, hey, look, because this was something that helped me, right? I remember what fasting did to me because I was on 4 different types of medications. I had diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. So for me, what happened was I was able to really figure out what the actual source of my problem was, which was my high cholesterol. And I was able to just cut it out. I asked the doctor, what should I do in order to just get, to just lower my cholesterol and my A1C and work on all those things, right? And I started fasting. Fasting was something I proved, and I started to educate myself, and I started to read books. This was before you had the internet. You could just Google everything. I mean, Google was still there, but I mean, this wasn't where you would read a lot of books. I read so many books, which is the reason why it's got stuck in my head. And this is why somebody now that just only looks at a couple of articles, they're not really knowledgeable. See, when you sit down and you read a long book, and it takes you about a month to complete, and like you not only are you reading it, but you're also taking notes on it, that it hits differently. You know what I'm saying? Which is the reason why it took me, certain amount of times to just go through this science, go through this book, eating right for your blood type, how to eat to live. There was many different factors, you know what I'm saying, that came about with it. So I was able to really, really figure out how to work and how to help other people, which inspired me to go down the road that I came, and I became a personal trainer because I wasn't going to school, to become a registered dietitian, because that's not what I wanted to do. And I also found that, folks that work in the healthcare professional, they're very, very limited on the things that they can actually do. So anyway, we were able to help this woman for the first time in Supreme's history with a fast that we saw how her body went from fat storage mode to fat burning mode. She started to lose body fat percentage, and her weight kind of stayed the same, but her body fat percentage went down, and her measurements in the inches basically changed. And that right there gave us a clear indication that we were in the right direction, right? So as soon as you sign up, right, there's another thing. There's video training that basically comes along with this. We give a lot of videos and we explain what the 3-day fast is, what the 16-hour 16-day intermittent fasting is, and what the 15-day reset is. That's really, really important. So now, because I remember like like a lot of people throughout the years, like I would literally sit there and have a long, long conversation, and I'd be on the phone with them for a very, very long time. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video library, a video vault that's going to teach my clients on what to actually do, what to eat before and after the workouts, how to stay hydrated, supplement sense, label reading, healthy shopping, portion control, balancing out essential micro, macronutrients, gut health, how to explore themselves and really have that information. And that video vote is timeless, right? So it's really important. And when we look under the hood, the first thing people usually think is, well, maybe it's the coaching. No, the coaching is fine. I'm not saying to not go to a coach because I am a coach. What I'm saying is you have to align yourself with an actual program. And this is the difference of what we do. I don't care who you train with. What I care about is the information of what you do when you go home, because you can exercise 3 to 4 times a week, but you have to eat 3 to 4 5 times per day. So I want to be in charge of that because I know that with that, that's going to help you, right? And it's important to really get with a coach, because coaching with us, especially with us, in the beginning, we're focused on your form, we're focused on your technique, making sure you're doing exercises the right way. And for the folks that are going into this January, that's going to be going in with the vengeance, you have to start understanding that exercising and doing things the right way, knowing that muscle and fat both weigh the same, not stepping on the scale and being like, oh man, I'm not seeing a difference. It's really, really important to really focus on the goal at hand of what we're trying to accomplish, right? Many of you are not squatting properly. So within the first 30 days, this is what we have to fix. So for you to try to get on a scale and trying to see a difference, this is what frustrates a lot of people. And that's why February 15th, everybody in the gym is gone, right? And it's like that every single year. But the cool thing about gym profits is people sign up for that $10, $20 a month membership. And even though they disappear in the gym, their payments still stay. And their payments is like a form of punishment, because it's like, I know I have to go into the gym, but I need to just go back in there. But the $10, $20 a month, that don't bother people, right? So when you're not paying, when you are not paying that money, when you're paying that money, you're telling yourself, I'm going to go in there eventually. But then it doesn't, when you hit about June, July, that's when you're like, hey, wait a minute, let me call, because, in March, I think they hit you with a maintenance fee. And I'm talking about, the main big box gyms that we're talking about, right? So it's important to really understand that you have to go into this thing by first knowing what your body type is. You have endomorph, ectomorph, and mesomorph body types. What type of body type do you have, right? For everybody that's coming in, right? The topic is why most people start January already behind, right? So this segues in because there's 3 different type of body types. There's ectomorph, which are people that have difficulties with gaining weight. There is mesomorph, with the people that have the perfect body types. And then there is endomorph. Those are the folks that have overweight issues and it's hard for them to lose weight. Once you can categorize yourself, you tell me what you are. So go in there and basically go in the chat and tell me, where do you think you are right now inside of the chat? And shout out to Rodney. Rodney, I know you're watching. Rodney just sent me a text, and I'm so proud of Rodney. Rodney just gave me his cholesterol, his LDL, everything. I know you guys can't. You can see it. It's all green. You see that right there? Years ago, it was red, 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 red. Red, 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 red. Now all of his stuff is green, 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 green. From taking those labs, man. It's so, so important, man. You guys have to understand, you have health span, you have lifespan. Many people are coming in, right? And they're going into January already behind. And how you set yourself up is going to affect you for the entire year. This first quarter, this January, if you have the wrong diet, if you have the wrong training, if you listen to the wrong people, you're going to mess yourself up. So I really want you guys to understand, it's all about fat loss, not weight loss. There's a difference. Muscle and fat both weigh the same. Body fat takes up more space in your body than muscle. So if you had a $100 bill and a hundred ones, $100 is $100. So you're not really going to know the difference. So what we want to do is we want to focus, and how we focus is by building up lean muscle mass. An increase in lean muscle increases your metabolism. We have to really understand and put our feet on the gas pedal when it comes to that. So it's really, really important. I want you guys to understand exactly what I'm trying to say to you. Fat loss doesn't start with choosing a spot on your body and training that specific spot. This is called spot reduction. I had a woman today tell me, I'm not seeing a difference in my body. Well, the reason why you're not seeing a difference in your body, young lady, is because you cannot pick a spot on your body to reduce. It's called spot reduction. It is a myth. It does not work. Nobody can choose a spot on their body. This is why I look, you'll see it too. If you go to the big box gyms, you'll see people on the ab cruncher and they're doing abs and they're working out and they're exercising and they're trying to work their abs because they think that they're going to actually get rid of the fat. No, that's not how it works. Fat does not work like that. Fat doesn't start with choosing a spot in your body and training that specific spot. You can't do core exercises. You can't do planks and think that fat is going to burn that way. You are building a lactic acid buildup in your muscles. And in fact, the abdominal muscles will actually get bigger and it will push out your stomach even further. Because if you still have body fat on your body, that's all it's going to do. You're going to put in abs. Now, if you did a fasting protocol where you turned your fat, your stored fat, into actually into energy, which breaks down into ketones and it goes into your liver and your body utilizes that fat as stored energy, your fat will go down and then you'll also see your abs coming in. That right there is the beauty, right? Many of you are not looking for abs. Many of you just want to get your stomach down. And I get that. So we have to focus and we have to understand exactly what it is that we're doing in order to get towards our goals. So please, let's not mess up this thing with the wrong foundation and the wrong information. Because if we do that, we're going to be messed up when it comes to information. Fat loss starts with fixing your foundation. It starts with hydration. It starts with consistency. And I'm talking about layups, not 3-point shots, not coming in 5 to 6 times a week. You don't have to come in and exercise every single day. But what you need is consistency and long-term consistency and knowing that it takes 4 to 6 weeks to just build up 1 pound of lean muscle. It takes 4 to 6 weeks. So you can't kid yourself. This is a long-term gain. This is a long-term game. This is not something that is going to just happen overnight and you're going to see yourself like, oh yeah, man, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to focus and you have to give yourself time, consistency, right? You have to understand how your body actually responds to the food, to the stress, and to the structure. That's the best way. And then once we record that, once we have a full understanding of that, then we will be able to point you in the right direction. So if you've been doing everything right, working out, sweating, trying, going to the gym 5 days a week, and you're still feeling stuck, well, stay with me here, right? And it's really important about these influencers. Let's get back to these. Everyone has an opinion. I can't tell you that the next person is wrong. Everyone has an opinion. Some coach may look at what I'm saying and they may say, oh, Coach Mark is wrong. It sounds good, right? Coaches, personal trainers, influencers on Instagram, TikTok, social media clips. Everybody is telling you something different about fat loss. But here's the thing, a lot of people are not going off of data and raw statistics. This is where I beat people at. They're not going off of the statistics. And that's why when you get into exercise science, it gets very, very tricky because most trainers go through their own path. And a lot of what makes someone even want to become a trainer in the first place is because they worked on themselves. See, this is what happened to me, right? What made me go into the training and coaching mode is because I had to free myself from the medication, right? But what a lot of trainers don't understand is this: a lot of them have fast metabolisms. I, for one, a lot of them have great genetics. Me, right? So when you look at many of the trainers, right, and some of them, right, I can name one or two off a hand that I know that's a trainer that actually has lost over 300 pounds. It's few and it's rare, right? But sidebar, because you'll see a lot of trainers that show their before and after picture, and this is it. I wouldn't even say trainers. I would say social media influencers. So somebody went into the gym and they got determined, and they were over 300 pounds. They were disgusted with themselves, and they basically you'll see them all the time on Instagram, right? And it's a good story. You'll see them, uh, baby, all I want for Christmas is you. And then, boom, the next scene is them all in shape and ripped and booty out and all that stuff. So that's cool. You helped yourself. You freed yourself. I have no issue with that. The problem is now you have a link to buying some sort of sweatsuit, some sort of gadget, because now you are affiliate marketer or something like that, and you want to sell some gadget. And people, really get into the emotional aspect of fitness, man. Fitness is an emotion, it's an emotional purchase. It's not a logical purchase. It's not like a cell phone where you call up Verizon and you say, hey, how much does that cell phone cost? Yeah, this cell phone right here is the iPhone Pro 17 and it's $1,800, but it's only, for the next 36 months is $50 and then we add. No, it's none of that, right? Personal training and fitness and weight loss and fat loss, I should say, it is an emotional purchase. So when you're talking to somebody, you have to deal with logic. So trying to approach a person on a logical standpoint, and a lot of people approach me. The first thing they say when I'm talking to them on the phone is, how much does your programs cost? I never tell that. I never discuss that. The reason why is because I don't know you, number one. And number two, like, how do I know that you are a good fit for me? How do I know that you'll be able to listen? How do I know that you will be able to follow the guidance of what it is that I'm trying to explain to you? Right. So a lot of online trainers don't care about that. They just have a regular package. You're signing up. They get you into a low barrier offer, an LBO. So that LBO will get you in there. You'll pay for $50, $59, $97. We do that. We do that to basically just get you in. But for me, the difference between me and another influencer is that I'm doing it because I want to wash out or weed out the people, and I have video training, and I know who my true clients are, the ones that actually watch all the videos, the ones that say, yeah, Coach Mark, I watched all the videos, I know exactly what direction I want to go in. Yeah, those are the ones, right? And for me, what allows me to actually coach the best way is because I know who is what's what. So when I do my online, when we launch our online training, we have our clients in that aspect, and they're from a whole different state, Kansas, Illinois, Louisiana. When I have them from those different places, it's easy to see who is going to actually be successful in the program versus someone that actually comes into my gym in South Jersey. You know what I'm saying? So these influencers don't really care. So they'll just take all the money, and their goal is basically to get you on some sort of $5,000, $6,000 package. So it's a process of elimination for them. And that's what the influencers basically trying to do. That's online training. So at Supreme Body University, what we do is a little bit different. Not to say that we don't have, programs that are, that are costly, but, I'm in the field all day. And that means I can actually touch my clients, and I can actually see the results. Many people are taking $1,500 shots so that they can lose weight. My thing is, I'm trying to get people to the goals, and I'm trying to be very inexpensive as possible with 2 gym locations. You know what I'm saying? That we currently are running. And, we've had these gym locations for 8 years. We're going on 9 years, right? 8.5 years. We're going on 9 years. Over 1,000 people I have sat down. I'm sorry, not over. Thousands of people I have sat down and they've walked through my doors personally. Not even as a trainer working in another gym. You know what I mean? I'm talking about sitting down in my establishment, my own gyms. We've had over 1,000 people, and we have transformed their bodies and transformed their lives. So this is bigger than online guruism, right? I've seen the ups and I've seen the downs. We've trained people online during the pandemic. So trust me when I say this, everybody has an opinion, and everybody is still telling you something different about fat loss. You just need to get it from one source, and you need to trust the actual source. Am I qualified to speak on fat loss? Yes, I've trained doctors that have come in and said, I feel like a hypocrite because I have patients and I don't want to look this way to my patients, right? I've seen every single body type you can imagine. I've dealt with the 500s all the way on down to the 130s. So I'm telling you right now, everybody's body is different. But one thing that does not change is this: you cannot exercise your way into fat loss. Do not let anyone lie to you, ladies and gentlemen. Exercise builds up lean muscle. An increase in lean muscle is an increase in your metabolism. That is it. Your lean muscle is your checking, I'm sorry, your lean muscle is your savings account. That is your Roth. That is your IRA. That is your retirement plan. So an increase in lean muscle. When you put on lean muscle, that speeds up your metabolism. That's it, right? You put on that lean muscle so that you can work on your metabolism. I mean, like when I mean metabolism, right? What is a metabolism? Metabolism is the fire that's inside of your muscles that absorbs and takes on your food. So if you have 1 pound of lean muscle, that burns 50 calories at rest. It takes 4 to 6 weeks. So if you have 10 pounds of lean muscle, you're going to burn, right, calories at rest, 500 calories at rest. That's a whole meal. There's folks that are walking around with over 30 pounds of lean muscle mass. That means that they are burning 1,500 calories a day on a surplus. This is why they have washboard abs. This is why they look the way that they do. You don't get the body you want unless you focus on nutrition as well. Your nutrition and your exercise has to be aligned. Your nutrition is everything. It is the key. Now, don't get me wrong, your nutrition, like I said, exercise, they have a balance, but nutrition far outweighs the exercise. What a lot of people do is they only focus on exercise when they get into that mode and they forget about the nutrition. When I ask, um, hey, have you logged in your nutrition for today? When my coaches, when you are checking in with my accountability coach, right? Coach Elisa, for example, you're jumping on a call with her. She'll ask you, have you logged in your nutrition for today? Your answer is no. We already know that you have a lower chance in our program to actually succeed because your nutrition is not aligned with your exercise. Because if it was, then we would know exactly what the analytics were. Why it's important? Because knowing your calorie count and being under your calories, your deficit, or being basically right at the tip of where you need to be, that is the recipe for success. You can't stay in a calorie deficit for so long. What that means is if you are 200 pounds, right, and you want to get to 180, we'll give you a calorie deficit, and that'll be 18. If you take 180, which is your goal weight, and we multiply that by 10, that's 1800, right? So in order to, and that's a 200 calorie deficit. So in order to get to that goal, we need to know how many calories you're eating on a daily basis. That's like, for me, if I study a mastermind course and the guy's like, okay, you want to be, I don't know why I'm making a voice, but you want to be a millionaire. Yes, I would like to be a millionaire. Well, in order to be a millionaire, you have to track your money on a daily basis. Okay. Now, when I check in with this person on a weekly basis, and he says, "Hey, have you been tracking your money on a weekly basis? Have you been writing it down?" And I'm like, "No." Well, there you go. You're not going to be a millionaire because the first thing he's telling me is I have to track my money. If you're not tracking your money, and for those, as a business owner, we don't get paid bi-weekly or monthly. We get paid daily. So if you're not tracking your money, what goes in, what goes out, who owes you, and all that stuff like that, well, then there you go. You're going to have issues within your business. So my point is, it's the same thing when it comes to calories. You see, if you're not getting enough protein in, then you will be craving carbs, right? You'll be overeating carbohydrates. You'll be overeating sweets, right? So those are the things that we have to go into, and we have to keep this in mind for January, right? Most people start January behind because they were never aligned to begin with. No one ever taught them, and it's okay, right? They come to me and they say, "Oh, my trainer said one thing, you're saying something else, but you're in my program." This right here, when it comes to nutrition, this is what we do. It's okay. You can listen to the trainers that are on TikTok or wherever, right? People send me links of really in shape people. They're in Miami, they're in California, they're in Texas. They're working out, they're exercising, they have nice bodies, they look good. Women send me these girls with nice booties, big onions. And they don't understand what it took for these women to actually get to that goal. Where there's a whole culture of fitness, I understand I'm in this world. That that that's the nature of California, Miami. These places are hot, by the way, right? The atmosphere, the whole thing, they're not getting snow. People on the East Coast, specifically on the Eastern Seaboard, where we are, right? All the way from Maine, all the way on down, that hits Massachusetts, that hits New York, that hits Connecticut, that hits Delaware, you know what I'm saying? Washington, D.C. People all the way on down New Jersey, right? Where we are, right? You can hide your clothing. You can hide it right now. You can hide it for Christmas. You can go to your family's Christmas party and wear a really thick, ugly shirt, right? And nobody is there to judge. Yeah, you may have a little stomach in between, but nobody's going to really be looking at that. Everybody's going to be happy. They're going to be married. They're going to be drinking, and you're going to be gaining weight, right? You can wear all the thick clothes, right? You can do all of that. And you can say, I'm busy, I'm busy with my schedule. That's what people are saying right now in December, right? You can say all the reasons on why you can't come and put the work in, but you're still watching influencers. You're still trying on the low, trying to get to the goal, and you're trying to cut corners and get there fast. I've had people tell me, "Oh, I don't mind. I'll do surgery. I'll do this. I'll do that." Right? You still want to get towards your goals. You still want the body. I get it. Right? The difference is when it comes to putting in work, that's where people fall off. You have to put the work in and you have to be consistent. You have to be like a tree. You have to grow roots. Everybody looks at the beautiful tree and thinks, oh, the branches and that, but you don't understand the work that the tree has to put in. You have to, the tree grows two ways. It grows with the roots and it grows at the top. Nobody sees the work with the roots. Nobody sees that part, right? Those influencers, they put in work. I have nothing but the utmost respect for those people. Kudos. But when it comes to listening, you have to choose who's going to give you the best knowledge. And I'm talking about from people that actually do data knowledge. I'm not talking about people that got themselves into shape and then now they're trying to get you to do what they're doing and they're trying to show you some insane workout, a hippity hop skippity jump workout. That is not going to get you to your goals. What's going to get you to your goals is simple layups and consistency, not three pointers, right? So what you're hearing right now, this is free. All you have to do is just listen, right? And what we always say is this: do your research. Don't just take my word on face value. Research everything, right? So getting back to the spot reduction, right? Because that is something that's big. One of the biggest things we need to really clear up is spot reduction. A lot of people believe if they train specific areas, your stomach, your thighs, your arms, your butt, your fat will come off of that spot. This idea is everywhere. I see it all the time. They have AI videos that basically show there's a million booty workouts, there's a million arms and stomach workouts. Many of you men have man boobs. Many of you women, you have subcutaneous fat around your booty. And that needs to go. You have back fat, you have lunch lady arms. You need to get rid of those things through diet and nutrition, through fasting, putting your body into a fat burning mode instead of fat storage mode, right? You can strengthen your muscles. You cannot tell your body where to lose fat. Fat is systematic. Again, I'm going to say that again. Fat loss is systematic, right? We had someone doing abs every single day, crunches, planks, and twists. And I remember her frustration 2 months were because her stomach wouldn't change. And she thought that she was failing. When I took some of her measurements, I would see she was going down a couple centimeters, not necessarily inches, but right, once we helped her reset her body. This was in 2023. I remember her. She was a nurse, a traveling nurse, right? And she wanted this body, yada, 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 right? She reset her body, and that allowed her hormones to go down. Working as a nurse, you have high hormones. You were doing those 12-hour shift jobs. And, she's like, when you eat, it's all hell that breaks loose when you are a nurse and you're eating in that type of fashion. All hell breaks loose when you're doing 12 hours, right? 4 days on, 3 days on, 4 days off. You know what I'm saying? So once she was able to reset her body, those hormones with fasting, right? We were able to really get the intermittent fasting in those 16 hours. That really took her from 260 pounds down to 170. Those pounds of fat began to shed and her core tightened without changing those ab workouts at all. She kept doing them. However, it was okay because it was real simple math, not magic. It's really all about physiology and the plan for you to create control for your body. You need control, right? Now, these myths that they have around, here's why a lot of these myths stick around so much and people don't really debunk them, right? Because people want control. You want fast results. Everybody does. Nobody wants to be a loser. Everybody wants to change and they want the change to be fast. You're watching people online who have already had years. I'm talking about 5, 6, 7 years. It's not like these people just 6 months later they became, you're talking about years. What you're seeing is the outcome, not the actual process. And I'm talking about these folks are doing real hippity hop, skippity jump workouts, and those weren't even the workouts that they did to get themselves to their goals. I promise you, they were doing hard work, hard workout. And this is really important for you guys to understand. We have to really focus on the knowledge first and foremost. When we talk about fat loss, right, that comes with the calorie deficit. It's very simple. We've created the responsibility of putting our bodies into a fat loss calorie deficit. That comes with you truly understanding the food, not restricting yourself, but truly understanding your love of food. Love is the highest form of understanding. Are you eating enough protein, which breaks down into amino acid inside of your body, which is the building block of muscle formation when you are exercising? Are you preserving your muscles? Are you eating in time? Many of you, like we have our protein powder. Shout out to us that we've been serving our people with the right type of protein, right? The chocolate and vanilla. Shout out to Supreme Body Nutrition. Are you preserving your muscles? Meaning, after you finish exercising, are you hitting that 30 to 45-minute window of getting that protein back into your system? Are you staying consistent? Fat loss isn't about doing more, it's about doing the right things long enough and being consistent with the things that you are doing. Real fat loss that we do is predictable, it's repeatable, and honestly, it's boring. It's extremely boring, but it gets the job done. I watch it with people every single day, and everybody has really similar stories. However, everybody has a different taste for things, and this is why it's easy enough for me to group people into different places and in different categories, right? People who succeed long term always say the same thing to me. I didn't feel like I was suffering. I would tell people to do a 3-day fast, and they would be like, man, that was simple. That was, at first, the first time I did it, it was hard. But then when I have them do it for months in consistency and then 15 days, they're like, it's not that bad. And it's not. I'm talking about during the holidays being really, really disciplined. That's not accident. That's design. And when you step into your greatness of understanding yourself and your body, that right there is what it is. So we need to filter out. We need to use and we need to see, we need to use our knowledge for making great decisions when it comes to fat loss, right? We have to ask ourselves with your busy schedule, can you do this long term? This is why I ask people all the time. This is why I give people long term programs. I won't even work with the person if they can't commit at least 12 months. If you don't want to do 12 months, then you're not the one. That's like being in a relationship with a guy that says, "Oh no, I don't want a relationship, I just want to smash." You know what I'm saying? Well, you're going to say, "Well, take a hike." Imagine telling me, right, the coach, "Oh, can I cancel at any time?" No, no, you can't cancel anytime because if you can cancel anytime, you would cancel anytime. This is why every person that we've always bended the rules to that have asked us, can we cancel at any time? They canceled at any time. Many trainers, workout programs, gym owners are afraid of their clients. This is why they say cancel at any time. I am strong in my spot to know that if you dedicate and you commit to this long-term process, that you will actually be successful, and I will sign you up for a long-term program because I need long-term commitment in order to give you long-term results, because it took you 3 to 5 years to put on that fat. You've had children, you've put on more fat. There's fat cells, there's a lot of body fat that needs to go. So, how do we help you? By preserving and building up lean muscles. We make this work so that it fits into your real life. Meaning, when you go on vacations, what do you do? When you go to work, what do you do? How do you eat? What do you do? Right? What do you do when your spouse is not eating healthy, but you are trying to eat healthy? We help you navigate through those things, right? So, if it doesn't pass all four, it doesn't make the cut. Long term, preserve muscles, real life, and motivation. I mean, like action, taking action, not really depending on motivation. These four things, knowing that you can commit long term and put on lean muscle, right? Changing up that diet, real life, real time, logging in your nutrition and staying motivated, meaning you are in action. You're just taking action because that's what wisdom is. Wisdom is wise words, right? That is being put to action. Once you obtain knowledge, you have a duty to basically put it in motion because action speaks louder than words. So now you have the duty to actually put those things into place. So if you can't do something like this long term, then the body will adapt to short terms and it will rebound and the fat will come back on. And this is why so many people lose in March, April, May, and then they come on with the funny bag of potato chip looking body. If you don't preserve your muscles, if your metabolism is slows down, if this does not fit in your real life with your busy schedule, right? Then your stress levels will continuously go up, your cortisol levels will go up, and your consistency will drop. And if it only works when motivation is high, then you will also fail. Like I say, you have to take action. Action and motivation don't get you out of bed. Nobody's motivated to go to work. I mean, except me, because I love my job, right? But everybody else does not become motivated. I get up. I am motivated because it's great to transform people's lives and do something that you truly love doing, right? Michael Jordan, it was motivated to play and do what he did in the NBA, right? So when it comes to exercise, that's what we have to work on, right? People aren't trying hard enough. And it's because no one is teaching you how to go hard for the things that you want and for the things that you love to do, right? Fat loss strategies are ignored by the body and how it actually works. And doctors and personal trainers and gym owners, they're not telling you guys the truth. It's simply consistency. It is nutrition and it is creating a program and an exercise program where you can see your measurements and your inches go down. You can see your fat loss go down. You can see your lean muscle go up. That is it. This is why January can be frustrating to people, right? You're chasing what sounds good. So you'll believe what that influencer will say. You're chasing what looks exciting. I've had people come to me and send me links on different exercises. I don't care about those exercises. Keep things simple. Look in the military. Those are the most in shape folks in America. They do jumping jacks, they do push-ups, they run. Very simple. Push-ups, jumping jacks, and they run. Keep things simple. Let's not make things complicated, because when you complicate things, you will injure yourself. And many people are walking around with injuries. And that's why, because they are complicating things. We don't need to complicate things, right? So, chasing what looks exciting, that will be a recipe for failure. Chasing what promises fast results, that will lead to a recipe of failure. Okay? So, here's what you really want to understand, right? For January, right? January is not just another month. January sets the tone hormonally for you women. For men, testosterone levels. So, yeah, those are hormones for men as well. But for women, it's more of cortisol, and it's more lowering cortisol. It's more of your satiated hormones. It's many different factors that we have to take into place, and we're not resetting because many of those things for you ladies are too high, and for men it's too low, right? It's too low for you men. Many of your men, and some of you ladies, give this to your man. Give this to your man. The dude that is sitting there on a couch with you right now with man boobs, right? You have to raise your level of testosterone. And what that does is that allows you to basically get in and get out with push-ups, squats, keeping exercises very simple. Ladies, you have to work on your behaviors, and you have to know your exercise behaviors. What that means is many of you are emotionally driven eating people. You eat out of emotional reasons. So we have to attack and understand the mental. January sets the tone for February, and February sets the tone for March. March turns into April. April turns into May. And before you know it, 6 months are gone. 6 months is either better insulin sensitivity, because we have gone into the fasting protocol, right? That has allowed you to have better habits, and we'll see better body composition, right? I want to see that with my Supreme Warriors. I want you guys to understand, and we have the technology now. We haven't even talked about the scans, but we have the technology now that will get you to your goals. And for our folks that are outside of the state of New Jersey, it's okay. I want you guys to continue to do what you are doing. I need to be more consistent, because at one point in time, I was very consistent myself when it came to going live, but I had a little incident with some of the platforms, and it kind of knocked me off my square. But I'm going to be more in your face, so I'm going to focus on Sundays to basically be back in there, so that I can set the tone for the entire week, right? I want to help you guys speed up your metabolism. I want to help you guys build up muscle. And I want to put you guys into the fat storage mode. And listen, you're either moving in the right direction, or you're deep in the wrong direction right now. December right now is going to set the tone for January and what you decide to do. And I'm not talking about going over to a family relative's house and eating seconds. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the simple consistency of what you're going to do for January, right? The body is always adapting to what you repeatedly do. So if you're doing the same exact thing, stop doing it, and stop following people that do not have a good or a long enough track record. Start asking questions. Start making great decisions that put you on the path that doesn't look good, that doesn't feel good, that doesn't end well. Be more on point, like a pencil, right? I don't want you to be confused, right? Because reacting instead of being proactive is the reason why so many people end up in the doctors and dealing with hospitals and being on the path of being unhealthy. You have health span and you have lifespan. Your health span is your long term, right? Health longevity, and That determines how long you're going to be healthy on this earth. Your health span stops, and then you are dependent on medication, and you are dependent on a CNA, nurse, etc. You're going to be in someone's care. You're going to be in a home, a nursing home. You can push out your health span right now, and you can start exercising by putting on muscle. Lean muscle builds and kills and does it all. When you build up and you have lean muscle mass, nothing, and I mean nothing, can compete with lean muscle mass. When you have an increase in lean muscle, you have an increase in your metabolism, and your physiology requires consistency by building up, and your knowledge builds up when you come into the knowledge and you see confidently that you are doing the work that you need to do. Your body does not respond to chaos. Your body literally does not respond to chaos. It responds to consistency. Chaos is when you don't have an actual plan and you're just on the rebound and you're just eating some BS and you're not coming in, you're not working out, you're not burning, you're not clear, right? This is where we need to be very, very clear, right? Fat loss doesn't come from intensity. Fat loss doesn't come from motivation, and it doesn't come from online trends. Motivation is neutral and it fades. Intensity spikes your cortisol, which can slow down your fat loss, and trends ignore individual biology. So, you seeing somebody doing a particular workout, you do not get to that goal by trying to do workouts that other people are doing. Fat loss comes from consistency, repeated behaviors over time. It comes from educating yourself and understanding why you're doing what you're doing. Fat loss comes from having a proper structure. So decision fatigue doesn't control your day. And choosing one direction and sticking to it is how you create fat loss. You don't need more information. You just need the right type of information. You don't need to do more. You need to do what actually matters long enough for your hormones, your metabolism, and your muscle tissue to grow. And that's how fat loss actually happens. That's how muscles are preserved. That's how bodies change. Every single time you go to sleep and you're in the fat burning mode and you're breathing out, that is how you lose weight. This is why you can step on the scale and you can actually change your weight. That is how you lose body fat, because your body is now using fat as stored energy. So at Supreme Body University, our role is very simple here. We're not here to give you the trends. We're not here to give you hacks. We're not here to tell you what sounds exciting. We're here to give you principles that work long term. And if it doesn't work long term, it doesn't work. We've seen what happens when people chase intensity. More cardio will increase your fatigue. Doing so much cardio will increase your fatigue and it will raise your cortisol levels. So going into the gym, then I don't even believe in going to the gym in a big box gym and doing the stairmasters and running and stuff. First of all, that is not good for air. That's not good for your lungs, because what's going around the gym, you're supposed to be outside. Doesn't matter if it's cold right now, doesn't matter if it's hot right now. If you're outside in the cold, it's dry air, so you're able to burn more calories. And if it's hot air, you are able to burn more calories. So you need to be outside in the hot and outside in the cold naturally. What we see in the month of February, March, April is burnout. What we see as gym owners, we see people quitting, and we see people rebound to weight gain. I see people lose 19 pounds within the first month, and then you don't see their posts anymore. I see in their stories a couple of times, hello, it's me, hello, it's me, Al. And then boom, nothing else. No more girly. We have to be consistent. Don't put it all up in people's faces if you're not going to be consistent. Know what you're doing if you want to be consistent. You have to focus, and your shift has to be to sustainability. and it has the adequate nutrition, resistance training, recovery, as well as structure. That's everything that you need to have long lasting results. That's how you have energy that improves. And that's what builds up your confidence, because when you're walking past the mirror and you see something different, that builds up your confidence, and that shows that you are actually getting to your goals. And that's why when we do also our measurements and our scans, we can actually see it, and that can show people what they've actually lost or gained. And that fat loss will then become predictable, because what you did at that month, now we're going to continue to repeat it. And just we're going to continue to just repeat it. And that's it. That's how you actually find out. That's how people go viral. People try to figure out how to go viral all the time, right? I bought a course on how to go viral, right? Years, many, many years ago. And what the coach said was true. People go viral because it's literally one thing that the algorithm likes that you do, and it's simple. It's simply very, very simple. When you consistently do that same thing, you will go viral. That's it. That's the trick. So some people will post things, and it's not for the benefit of other people, it's for them. And then some people, the ones that go viral, they post for the benefit of the people. That's what makes them go viral. So, consistency, thinking about what you need to do, consistency. I say that viral thing is because I want you to understand that when you hit that algorithm of fat loss, it's because you consistently figured out what you need to do. When we have our folks that do competitions, right? They figured out how to get their bodies and get themselves jacked. They literally simply they do this. They do a cup of rice. They do 2 cups of ground turkey, and they do broccoli. They eat that twice a day. They have their protein shakes before before their workout. I'm sorry, not before their workout. After their workout, and like the last thing that they'll have 2 protein shakes. They'll have they'll have their breakfast. They'll have their egg whites, and all those things as well. Egg whites. They'll have bacon, or they'll have their sausage or something like that, and they'll have avocados. You know, literally portion control all the way down. All their calories are counted. They're walking outside in the beginning. Some of them do the gym. Don't get me wrong. They're walking outside or in the gym for 1 hour. For no, in the beginning of the morning time, they're doing fasted cardio for 30 minutes. Then comes 1 o'clock. They're in the gym for 2 hours, because it takes 80 minutes to deplete glycogen. And then they're going to do 30 minutes of cardio after that. And then at home, they're going to, at nighttime, the last thing they do at nighttime is they're going to do about another hour of cardio. That's how you see them on the stage, and they're jacked. I mean, they have literally 5 to 7% body fat. Are you ready to do that? And I'm talking about they're training about 5 to 6 times a week. That's how people train when they go to competitions. And you're talking about physique and their muscles and everything is just popping, and they're like, that's the trick right there. Thank you. You're welcome. Right? Your January is packed with a lot of confusion. There's a lack of structure, and I want to fix these things for you. And I want your intensity to be over intelligence. I was just telling somebody today when we went to boot camp, because they had some logical explanations about what I was trying to do as far as my exercise. And I told them straight up, I said, if society breaks down right now, we're going to go back into the barbarian ages, and your master's degrees will be for nothing. That's how I treat exercise as well. It's no logic in exercise. There's no reason. Everything is just straight up barbarian. And you have to just throw it all out the window and you have to just go ape. We have to do this and we have to do it over and over. Consistency. Consistency will beat intensity as well. We don't have to be intense all the time. We just need to be consistent because biology responds to repetition. As long as your body knows that you're doing the right things, it's going to release the fat. Your body holds on to fat when it doesn't believe you. It's like, we don't believe you. We need more. You need more people. And your body will not believe that you are actually going to do what you're doing until you show it consistency. It will hold on to your fat. It's called the whoosh effect. So your fat basically has about a store toxins and things like that. Your fat cells. Your fat cells can actually flush out and then it can fill it up with water. So your body can have fat cells as water. So your body fat percentage won't change, nothing changes, but the toxins are outside of your fat cells, but it's now replaced with water. Once your body feels that it is doing what it's supposed to do, it will release that water and your fat cells will shrink. You can't get rid of it, but your fat cells will shrink. That's called the whoosh effect. So, how do you get to the whoosh effect? You got to educate yourself. And this is why Supreme Body University helps you with your education. You have to commit to consistency. Consistency is the key. Working with somebody that's going to help you with your goals and help you be consistent. Because that's something that's hard that you're not going to be able to do on your own unless if you are driven with some sort of life-changing decision, right? So choose understanding over guessing as well, because fat loss works when the process is clear and now you know what clarity actually looks like. I want to thank everybody for actually joining me in this thing. If you are interested in changing and getting towards your goals, go to supremebodytraining.com. If you need any information, any additional information, if you are on the edge, not or on the fence about working out, please send me a DM. Feel free to actually text 856-434-7265. I will respond back as much as I can. Okay. I would like to thank everybody for joining me on